Welcome back to the KB Money Show. It's another episode. Let's get into it. So, unless you've been under a rock, man, that Shannon Sharp and Katt Williams interview is going viral, bro. Like it's crazy. And so, I watched it, and for me, yeah, it's a part of our culture. Yeah, Cat Williams, Shannon Sharp, depending on what age range you in, we watched them growing up. You know, Shannon Sharp in football, Cat Williams with the comedy, and probably if you're a little bit on the younger side, you probably definitely recognize Cat Williams. But we got to talk about it. It's a part of our culture, and so but I'm always listening from a financial perspective, and I'm always thinking about what are the lessons here. What are the learning lessons, and then like how can I bring bring a couple keys, gems, lessons that I can share with the community that we can glean from, versus just only looking at it as an entertainment. Entertainment is great, but how can we pull some gems from it as well? And so I wanted to bring that to you today. So as I was listening, I'm always listening from that framework as well, a little bit of entertainment too, but I'm always listening like, how can I bring value to the community? And so, with that being said, I wrote down three things just so I wouldn't forget. Just didn't I always say freestyling or just riffing. So I wanted to make sure I was succinct with it. So three things that I want us to take away with is one. Well, before that, let's frame it up. Man, that was an explosive video. Before I get into that, like let's talk about like man, it sounds like man, it seemed like it's some unspoken drama, that's happening. Who's really telling the truth? No one really knows. I'm not really picking sides. I'm indifferent, but it's no different from anything else. If you got family or you got friends or you got people you grew up with, you fight, you make up, or you have little beefs or things that's unresolved. It's no different from anything else. And it's just that they are public figures and it's more public and it's out there. And so it's just more magnified and more people tune in. But so think about like if you had beefs in your life and then it just was magnified through social media, other various social media channels, or just on the TV, then it might hit a little bit different too. But I see it as no different from that, and so it just makes it entertaining because these are people that you appreciate their body of work, and so it's kind of interesting to just tune in. And you do have people that pick sides, and heck, even in your own personal life, some people pick sides. People think you might be crazy and you tripping, so everybody kind of giving you the side eye, whatever, and then you giving them the side eye, and then but somewhere in between is the truth. But again, let's pull the financial lessons out of that as we get into it. All right, so one that I have here is that immediately stuck out to me as I was listening, and it was just running through my head was I'm like, oh man, I got to share this with the community. One is you got to play the long game, man. Like always be thinking from a long term perspective. And so, like when I was listening to Cat Williams speak, I was hearing it's been a journey, but he's been consistent. Like he's been extremely consistent. So how does that relate to finances? Think of it this way. You're gonna be working for a long time, whether you're in business, whether you got your job that you're working on, and maybe you got your side hustle, maybe you got a combination of all three. But you got income coming in. What I was thinking about, I was like, yo, this is perfect. I'm like, in my head, I was thinking dollar cost averaging. Like if you're getting into, and I'm not a financial advisor at all, so go seek one. But dollar cost averaging, like if as you continue to dollar cost average is being consistent with it. Before you know it, you have, maybe you start off with maybe you start off with debt. You chopping down that debt, chopping down that debt, chopping down that debt, negative net worth. Then you get yourself back to the starting point, zero, because that's not financial freedom. You paying off your debt, and now you can live free and give. So, there's gurus that tell you like, no, it's a little bit more to the story. So now you at zero, but then now you start dollar cost averaging, and you taking that same money, and now you dollar cost averaging and putting it into your investments, putting it into your 401ks, putting it into your brokerage accounts, whether you're doing index funds, ETFs, whatever. Now you got $1,000 net worth. Then you got a $5,000 net worth. Then you got a 10. Then you got a 20. Then you got a 40. Then you got an 80K net worth. Then you got a 100K net worth. Then you have a 150K net worth. Then you got a 200K net worth. Then you got a 250, 350, 400, 425, 475, 500. 550, 600, and et cetera, et cetera. And before you know it, just as a byproduct of being consistent and dollar cost averaging over a long period of time, then you look up and you're like, wow, like that's crazy. And you just was being extremely consistent. So always play the game from a long term perspective, the money game that is. So that was my first takeaway. Number two was, just listen to Katt Williams. By the way, he's a phenomenal storyteller. But I was just listening to like the supreme confidence that came from being masterful with your craft, with his craft. But then how I related to the audience is, I wanted to ask the question to you, and I was just reflecting. I was like, what craft have you mastered where it just has that you develop supreme confidence in, and this is what you do, and people have to come correct whenever it comes to, I was thinking in this terms, like, now you're not taking anything that comes your way. Now when you book a call with me, you like, hey Ken, hey look, I got these job offers. Like, I know my value as it relates to my skill set, which is separate from your self-worth. That skill set that the marketplace sees in a certain value, but then also negotiating what your value is, like, and so making sure you get what you negotiate as it relates to your maximal package, total comp package that you can get, and not leaving a dollar on the table, because hey, this is what I do and I'm masterful at this craft. Because he was just because and going back to Katt Williams, he was just talking about his Netflix deals and how many he had and how many stand up, and I'm thinking, and he was comparing it to other people that didn't have it because they just, maybe they weren't as good or whatever the case may be. I don't know the details of all that, but I just was like, I got to talk about it to the audience. So, what do you have supreme confidence in? What craft have you developed where you're masterful at it, and people will pay you great money for it? People will exchange dollars from it, whether it be from your W-2 job, you making money from your job, and then you just getting a job offer, and then you negotiating the value, the value that you're bringing, and so you're negotiating the best package that's going to work for you and the company, but definitely going to work for you. Um, Maybe it's a business. You got a product or service. That is what it is. In exchange, what are you going to price it at? The price points to where you're going to sell to your client, your customers. Side hustle, same thing. What are you going to be charging for your side hustle to make some extra money? And so I thought that was pretty cool, and I wanted to talk about that. Three is, now this one was interesting. I was thinking about, stay true to yourself, and keep your values intact as you plan the money game, as you're out here being doing life, and not switching up if someone throw a bag at you, or you doing some weird stuff just for money. Like, and of course, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, so I'm not even gonna get into that gossip side of that. But I mean, Katt was speaking like he knew some stuff. And so, you know, Katt Williams is one of those cats you don't mess with. Like, ever since I've seen him, and he doesn't do interviews all the time, but like, he don't hold back no punches. So like, it seems that he knows some stuff, but who knows? I don't know Katt Williams. I don't know anyone else. I don't know any of them. I just know him from TV and watching them on social media and watching their stand ups and things of that nature. But he is talking with he is talking with details and regardless if it's true or not, who knows? That's for someone else to decide. Maybe you may have some insight on that. I have no idea. That's not really the channel this is, but the one thing I do know is like what what you're willing to do for money is important, and holding your values, and like, will you, as you're on this journey, will, if someone throws a big enough bag at you and it defies your values, would you still take it? Would you still do it? So I wanted the audience to think about that as well. But those are my three takeaways. Just as a recap, one, always think from a long term perspective. Two, master your craft. That way you can have supreme confidence in whatever it is that you're doing. Three, stay true to yourself and keep your values as you plan the money game. And hey, if you thought this was helpful, hey, I'd be curious, make some, drop some comments, your thoughts, your perspective, any takeaways that you had if you watched the video. Um, yeah, but it was interesting. But yeah, until the next one. Peace.